Your phone lights up on the coffee table next to you. It's a text from your friend asking if you want to come to their casual hangout this weekend. You don't even pause to think before you start typing an excuse. I have work to catch up on. I'm not feeling great. I already made plans. You hit send, set your phone down, and sink back into the couch scrolling mindlessly. Then the thought hits you, unbidden. Do I just genuinely hate people? You don't hate people. You hate having to perform for them. If you've had that exact thought, you're not dealing with a personality flaw. You may be dealing with social performance fatigue. That is the exhaustion that comes from adjusting yourself so much around other people that being social starts to feel less like connection and more like acting. Most of the time, you probably blame that exhaustion on yourself. You tell yourself you're just introverted or cold or bad at being around people. You might even think you're just naturally unlikable, and that's why being with others drains you so much. You've probably also heard that adjusting yourself in social situations is just being polite or having high emotional intelligence. So if you're tired, you figure you're just not good enough at it. But what if that's not the whole story? What if your hatred of socializing isn't about other people at all? You were not always someone who wanted to avoid people. At some point, you were the easy one, the one who laughed so no one felt awkward, the one who said, "I'm fine with anything," before anyone even asked what you wanted, the one who softened every opinion before it left your mouth, the one who checked the room before you showed too much of yourself, the one who learned that being liked often meant being less honest. It felt like the easiest way to get through social interactions without anything going wrong. If that sounds familiar, that's not a flaw. That's a pattern you learned for a reason. This pattern forms when, at some point, your brain connects being your unfiltered, real self with negative outcomes. Maybe you spoke up with a different opinion once, and the room went quiet. Maybe you said no to a request once, and someone called you selfish or difficult. Maybe you showed you were upset about something, and people told you you were overreacting or ruining the vibe. Over time, your brain starts to run an automatic safety check every time you're around people. Adjust what you show. Say what they want to hear. Be the easy, agreeable version of yourself, and nothing bad will happen. Social performance. Fatigue is not a flaw. It is what happens when your brain learns that being easy to be around is safer than being fully honest. That pattern worked for you for a long time, until it didn't. You see it first in small, everyday moments. When your team is voting on where to get lunch, everyone says pizza, but you've been craving Chinese food all week. You open your mouth to say something, then close it again and say, "Pizza's great. I'm fine with anything." You don't want to be the person who makes everyone change their plans. That's the pattern kicking in. Then it shows up in your group chats. Everyone's talking about a new show you haven't watched or a take you don't agree with. You type out a comment explaining what you think, delete it, rephrase it to sound softer, delete it again, and finally just send a laughing emoji to fit in. You don't want to be the one who kills the conversation. That's the pattern again. It shows up at work too. You sit through a 2-hour meeting where you don't agree with half the decisions being made, but you don't say a word. You just nod, take notes, and ask the right follow-up questions to look like the engaged, cooperative team member everyone expects. The second the meeting ends, you duck into the empty stairwell and lean against the wall, taking deep breaths just to feel like yourself again. You spent the whole time performing, and you didn't even notice you were doing it. The worst part comes when you get home after that kind of day. You drop your bag, take off your shoes, and immediately let your face fall into that neutral, relaxed expression you never get to wear around other people. You collapse on the couch and don't say a word for an hour. You look back at the last few hours, and you barely recognize the person you were being around everyone else. That's when the thought creeps in again. I must just hate people. Why else would this be so tiring? But the longer you use this pattern, the more it starts to cost you. That good, easy to get along with version of you everyone likes, it's draining you dry. It costs your energy. You leave a 1-hour coffee date needing half a day to recover, it costs your voice. You laugh when you want to disagree. You say, "No worries," when something actually bothered you. You turn a real opinion into a joke so no one has to sit with your honesty. It costs your preferences. You say, "I'm fine with anything," so often that one day someone asks what you want and you honestly do not know how to answer. It costs your closeness. People may like the version of you that performs, but they never get to meet the version of you that is real. And eventually, it costs your trust in yourself, because if you keep editing yourself to stay acceptable, you may start believing the unedited version of you is the problem. Now, this doesn't mean that all social adjustment is bad. There's a clear line between normal, healthy politeness and this draining performance pattern. Healthy adjustment is when you choose to soften your words or go along with the group because you want to make the situation nicer for everyone, not because you're scared of what will happen if you don't. When you adjust yourself voluntarily, you don't feel drained afterward. You don't feel like you were lying about who you are. The draining, automatic performance is different. It happens without you choosing it. It kicks in no matter what the situation is, even if you're with people you theoretically trust. And when it's over, you feel exhausted, empty, and like you wasted your time pretending to be someone you're not. You can pause for a second right now and think about the last social interaction that left you feeling completely drained. Ask yourself, when I adjusted my reactions in that situation, was I doing it because I wanted to make the atmosphere better? Or was I scared of what would happen if I didn't? You don't have to rush to an answer. Just noticing the pattern is enough. So, the next time you turn down a hangout and wonder if you hate people, remember this. You're not cold or unlikable or bad at being around others. Your social exhaustion isn't because you're unlikable. It's because you've been playing a character for too long. That pattern you developed to keep yourself safe isn't serving you anymore. But that doesn't mean you're broken. It just means you learned a habit that's now costing you more than it's helping. You don't need to fix your hatred of people. You may just need to stop performing all the time. You don't have to be the easy, no problem person every single time you're around others. It's okay to say what you want. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to tell someone you don't feel like talking about something. You do not hate people. You are just tired of disappearing in front of them. The right people do not need you to perform comfort. They make it safe for you to be real. And if this helped you understand yourself a little more, you can subscribe for more videos on the hidden patterns behind overthinking, social exhaustion, and self-criticism. What's one time you realized you were performing in a social situation instead of just being yourself?